Good morning, everyone. How are you? This is Anna Walker, also known as Felt It, and I've been coming to you for the past several weeks with an art project every morning, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. We have the rest of this week and we have next week left to do our projects, and this week the projects are all about showing love to our moms, our grandmas, anyone that we love, and making some projects that we can share with them. Usually you see me working with fiber and felt, and when I'm taking a break from our regular art lessons, I'll be working with fiber and felt during the summer. So make sure that you stop by every now and again and see what I'm working on with felt and fiber, and maybe you'll get interested in it too. But today we're doing a really cool metallic op art design, and this project is so quick and so easy. You're going to have so much fun. So let me turn the camera down and we'll get started. All right, here we go. I'm gonna adjust the camera lights here. I think that'll work. Okay, here we go. We need just a few easy things here. We need a piece of aluminum foil. We need a little piece of cardboard. I just cut this off of a box that came. We need some Sharpie markers, 1 black and then 4 colors of your choice, and we'll need a little bit of tape. So this design, it's called an op art design because we're playing with perspective. We're playing with grid lines and then drawing another shape. Today's shape happens to be a heart inside the grid lines, and then coloring inside the shape different colors than the shapes outside, and using that checkerboard kind of pattern to give us that nice little funky feeling to it. So first thing we do, we take and we wrap our piece of cardboard in the aluminum foil. And make sure when you're folding the foil over and you're pulling it in to connect everything that you don't pull too hard. Aluminum foil tears really, really easily, okay? So as long as you remember that aluminum foil looks really tough, but there's a little bit of it that's a little delicate, especially when you're folding things over, you will be just fine. And I just sort of use my hands to sort of push that over, and then I'm just going to use a piece of tape. I don't have to, but I like to make sure that the aluminum foil isn't going to come loose, so I just put a piece of tape there, and then we're ready to get started. So the first thing that we're going to do, and I'm going to put this in here so you can see it as well. I'm going to turn this a little bit more. There we go, that's a little brighter. First thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our grid lines, because you can see that the grid lines go through the shape. So the grid lines came first. That's what we need our black marker for. Now, these are Sharpie markers. These are the kind of markers that leave permanent marks on your fingers, so be careful with your hands and be careful with the surface underneath your project. You might want to grab a piece of paper or something to put underneath to make sure you don't draw on the table. The other thing that I want you to make sure of, even though the point on the Sharpie marker isn't really, really pointy, if you push too hard into the foil, you could poke a hole in it. So be very careful when you're drawing the grid lines, and they do not have to be straight. In fact, it's even better if they come in and they're a little bit uneven. And I'm just drawing some lines here, and then I'm going to draw some lines across, and you can see I am not making these lines any, super straight. I'm not marking them, I'm not measuring them, I'm just drawing those lines on. Okay, so we have our grid design on here, all right? Next thing we need to do is draw our heart on top of that. Now, I like to start the heart, the point of the heart, where it's nice and easy for me to see where it's going. Now, when you're drawing your heart, you'll want to make sure that you don't have, you'll see I've got some really tiny spaces here, and those were a little difficult to color in, these really tiny spaces. So I'm going to try not to have super tiny spaces here. And I'm just going to draw that heart shape. And it's just a nice little heart shape there. See? That's all we need the black marker for. Now, if you want all of the lines to be the same thickness, you can certainly go over your lines with your marker sort of on its side, and that will give you more bold lines that you can work with, but you don't have to. But since I've started this, I'm going to go ahead and finish this. And it's just a matter of going over those lines so that they are nice and bold. That'll just make these pop out even more. I'm going to turn it this way to do these lines. And again, I'm just sort of holding my marker sideways so that I'm getting a thicker line going here. I don't have to do this. I just decided I could show you a different way that you could do this so that you could see that there are a number of ways you can do this project. And be careful. You notice when I'm going over this one side, things are a little bumpy. So just be careful when you're going over your cardboard here that you don't poke a hole in your aluminum foil. See, and I've got some pieces here that didn't fill in, so I'm going to go over. So, there we go. And now it just makes me want to go over the heart shape again. So I'm just going to go over the heart shape line to make sure that it is nice and bold. Turn my aluminum foil around if I need to make this nice and bold. Get that top part there. And then come down here and just make this bottom part of it nice and bold. All right, so now we have our design. The easy peasy part is what comes next. I'm going to take 2 colors to do the outside, and then I'm going to take 2 colors to do inside the heart. And we just need to figure out where we're going to start, and I'm going to start right here. So this is going to be green, and then I want to just put a little bit of green in every other one so that we've got that grid pattern easy to follow. And then I can come back in after I've marked this all out to fill in what's left of the spaces that I need to fill in. Does that make sense? So I'm just marking every other space with the green so that I know which ones are green and which ones are going to be purple. And we're just making that checkerboard pattern. And I've got a little dot there. And you just remember that your colors are going to go from corner to corner, and then you'll fill in with the other color corner to corner on the ones that are left. All right, so we've gone all the way around. Now I can just fill these in. And I'm just going to go over the edges and then fill it in very carefully, just to make sure that I've got all of the squares or the small spaces filled with the color that they're supposed to be filled with. And we're just going to go around and fill these in, and then we'll go in with our other color, the purple, and we'll fill in the opposite squares. Call them squares. None of them are really squares. They're all very odd shaped because we didn't have a perfect grid pattern, and that was by design. We didn't want it to be perfect. We wanted it to be fun and fancy free and very free form. Just adds to the character of the piece when we get done with it. I mean, this is a very, very easy project to do. You could do a lot of these. very, very quickly because it's just a matter of picking your colors, making your grids, and then coloring in the shapes. And then you've got a completed piece that is ready to hang. Maybe you'll use it as the cover for a card that you want to send out. This would be a really pretty way to decorate the front of a card. Maybe it's just something that you'll hang up and it'll be something pretty to look at. Now, I'm not worried if my marker is picking up a little bit of the black when I go over the edges, because it's going to blend just beautifully into the green. I don't really need to worry about it. We don't have to be super duper careful with this because the marker for the black is pretty thick on the lines, and that helps us out an awful lot. And I'm just turning it as I go, just to make sure that I've got a nice little bit where I can put a finger and sort of hold it into place. And that way we'll make sure that I don't get any marker on my finger. If I do, it's easy enough to clean off. A little bit of alcohol or a little bit of hand sanitizer will clean Sharpie marker off of your fingers. Okay, so we've gone all the way around with the green, and I'm happy with that green. Isn't that pretty? That color just shows up beautiful on the foil. So now I'm going to use this purple marker, and I'm going to go in with the purple on the opposite spaces, and we're just going to fill in the purple. We don't need to mark up which is going to be purple and which is going to be green because we've already done that. We've got the green already set up, so all I have to do is fill in the rest of the spaces with my second color. And that's what we're doing right here, right now. Just filling in these extra spaces, not going inside the heart. The heart spaces are going to be colored two different colors. And that's what helps this design just sort of pop out and be very visible. You can see on the sample that I've got a blue and a yellow inside the heart, and then I've got a purple and pink on the outside of the heart. And I just wanted to play with the colors, so I picked different ones for this one. But you can see how having the different colors there lets the design just really pop out. I'm going to turn it a little bit so I can get to these down here. And we're just coloring in on top of the tin foil to finish out our design outside the heart, and then we'll work on our design inside the heart. Now, you could do the heart shape first. The only reason I'm doing the outside is because I just decided to do the outside. You could do the inside of the heart shape first. But just remember that the colors that you choose for the outside need to be different than the colors you choose for the inside. And because I chose a dark blue and a light blue for the inside, I'm going to want to make sure that the light blue is next to the purple ones when I color in the inside of the heart. And that'll just help define that shape even more, because we'll have a noticeable difference between the inside of the shape and the outside of the shape. Turn this one more time. Where's I at? That's where I was. Sharpie markers are fun to design with. They can get messy, and you've got to be careful because they are permanent markers. We've got a little tiny dot right there. But because they show up so well against the aluminum foil, the Sharpie markers just do a beautiful job on this particular project. Now you can do an op art design, a design like this, without it being on foil. You can do it on regular paper. I like using the foil because it just gives that little extra bit of shimmer to the project, and I think that makes it look special. And so here we are at the end of our design on the outside of our heart, And there we go. So we have the outside of our heart design done, and now we're going to color the inside of our heart. Now remember that I said we wanted to make sure that the dark blue wasn't next to the purple. We want the dark blue next to the green areas. So I'm going to find a green square, and that's where I'm going to start planning out my design for where the color needs to be. And I'm just, like I did on the outside, I'm just going corner to corner, every other shape. Until I've got my pattern filled in, and then I'll start filling in the shapes so that we've got complete coverage there. Okay, so let's fill in our shapes here. And again, I am just taking my marker, going right along the edge where the black is, and then just filling it in. And you can scribble these in, you can go very, very carefully, whatever way you want to go. You do notice that you can see some of the marks and some of the stroke marks that you make when you're coloring your design as you look at it afterward, but I think that just adds to the beauty of the pattern. And we're almost done here, just a couple more. Get down here at the point of our heart and fill in. And remember, just try and make sure that you're not pressing down too hard on the aluminum foil, because we don't want to poke a hole in the foil. It can still happen. Okay, and now we've got our blue done. Now we've just got to do our light blue, and then our design is complete. And so I'm just going to take and work the light blue in the areas that are still left. You could certainly choose to not color one of the areas if you wanted to, and that would just give you that silver of the aluminum foil looking up at you. But I think it's nice to have color in each of these spaces so that you get that full op art kind of feel. And I think I like the colors that I chose here. They're all very close to each other on the color wheel. So it looks, I don't know what the word is that I'm thinking of. It looks very coordinating instead of very opposites and jarring. This one, I really played with having some bold changes in the colors that I selected for the pattern because I wanted them to really jump out. This one's a little more subtle, I think. But it also, to me, because the colors are all close to each other on the color wheel, to me it almost looks a little richer than what the jarring differences do. I know, it's just my perspective. Your perspective might be different. But I think playing around with colors and how they look next to each other would be a fun way to take a look at different designs that you create like this. Have fun playing with the colors and see which color combinations you like the best and which color combinations are the ones that you think really jump out at you. And that, my friends, is all there is to our project today. See how fast and easy that worked up? And now we have two pieces that we can use to gift to someone for Mother's Day or for Father's Day, or just because we're thinking about them and we care about them. That's our project for today. I'm going to flip the camera up. Thank you for being with me today. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We're going to make a couple of cards, and they'll feature hearts because it's all about showing the love to people that we care about this week. And I hope that you'll go to stabthingsintoexistence.com. Make sure that you sign up so that you don't miss anything on my summer break, because I'm going to do a lot of felting during the summer, and I hope you'll come and take a look at what I'm working on. But tomorrow, I'll be here, 10 o'clock Central Time, and I can't wait to see you then. Bye, friends.